Hello and welcome to BNC Sports. I'm James Hill. His name is James Buster Douglas. He grew up in Columbus, Ohio, in the shadows of The Ohio State University. His father is a former boxing champion, a Gold Gloves champion, and he is a champion of the world. Buster Douglas, talk to us about your boxing journey. Take us back to your days in Columbus when it all began for you.
Well, I was a 10-year-old walking into the recreation center at Blackburn, and that's where it all began, Columbus Parks and Rec.
Awesome. Now, your dad, Grassman, was known as a boxer, Mr. Dynamite. He went to Chicago and came home as the Gold Glove champion. Take us into his boxing experience and you being able to watch that as a young person.
Well, yeah, I was introduced to it at birth. You know, my father was a national Golden Glove, the first national Golden Glove boxing champion in Columbus, Ohio. And he took me into the rec center where he was a boxing trainer over at Columbus Parks and Rec. And that's when my career began, and led to me fulfilling a childhood dream of becoming a heavyweight champion of the world.
Now, growing up, you actually played a lot of basketball. You were so good, you even played in college. Take us to your basketball games.
Well, yeah, I got a scholarship at a junior college in Coffeyville, Community College in Coffeyville, Kansas. And played basketball there. We were pretty good. We won the conference championship, went to the nationals, and got defeated in. But we had a good run. It was a good run. I went out there with a fellow Ohioan, Terry Dillard, played at Columbus East High School. We both got a scholarship out there at Coffeyville.
Now, the boxing game has been something that has been a part of your family, and it was always there for you. As you told me before, you had those magazines, the ring magazines. Your father really had a passion for boxing. But take us back to your early days when you began to learn the fight game.
Well, like I said, we were Blackburn Recreation Center. My father was a boxing coach, had a pretty good boxing team. And we traveled throughout the city, the state, and beyond. You know, I got an extensive amateur background. And I had somewhat close to, 90 fights as an amateur, Golden Gloves in West Virginia, Columbus. We just, fought a lot. And then when we didn't fight, when we weren't traveling, we fought each other in the City of Police Athletic League, the Powell Athletic League. And, it was just an extensive career, a lot of fights.
Now, along your journey, you had the opportunity to go out to the Dakotas. Take us back there and what that was like for you.
That was the Junior Olympics. I went out there with a fellow Columbus fighter, Jerry Page, Terry Moore, and Michael Bradley. Well, Michael didn't get to go because he was a little older. But we all traveled to South Dakota. We drove a city car out there. Forrest Winchester was our boxing coach. And he took the three of us out there for the Junior Olympics. That's when we got to see Mount Rushmore. Went out to the head. Actually, we was out there during the conflict when the Indians were threatening to blow it up.
Awesome.
So it was pretty good experience.
Now, take us back to when you stepped on that canvas and you got in there and you had to take care of the gentleman that was in front of you.
For the title?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, that was, we flew all the way across the pond to Tokyo, Japan, and got to fight for the heavyweight championship. That was my second opportunity fighting for the title. And I was going to make the best of it, and I did. And I won the title that night. Upset.
Now, Oliver McCall, guys like Tucker and Burbick. Take us back to some of those fights as you're rising up to where you would get to the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, those were big fights that I had to win. Tucker was the first shot at the title, portion of the title, the IBF title. I lost that. Then I had to get even more determined to come back and position myself to get us another shot at the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, which I did. And, you know, it was just a awesome experience because the top 10 was very strong. Every fight was a tough fight leading up to get the title fight. So by the time I got my second shot at the title, I was well prepared and really focused on what I had at hand, and I was more determined.
Now take us back to your training days. Your dad, Mr. Grassman, Mr. Dynamite Douglas was in charge, and then one of the coaches from The Ohio State came on the scene. But take us back to that transition and how that took place.
Yeah, I started out with my dad, you know. That's amazing. He went and did some study, got the Grassman. I said, I haven't heard that in a long time. He went deep on me on that one. But yeah, I got switched over to John Johnson. He was a former coach, one of the student coaches at Ohio State. And then we just got back into the trenches and fought everybody that came and put me in there with, and got another shot at the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship.
Champ, the last time we talked in New York, you talked about how some of the days that guys don't want to work out or they're feeling tired can be some of their best days that they work out, running through the snow, really hitting the punching bag and really going after it. But talk about the training aspect and how some of those days can be your best.
Yeah, the days you really don't feel it, like when my uncle came to get me to run, it was the days that I really didn't feel up to running. That was some of my best workouts, best training days. You know, it's just determination, just staying determined to keep pushing yourself. Even beyond the limits that you thought that you couldn't do, you end up going further than you thought. And it was just some of the times that, you know, we'd be out there on the road running, and my Uncle JD would be pushing me, and I'll be like, man, I don't feel like running. And he'd be like, come on now, you know, if a dog came, you would run. I said, no, I wouldn't. I'll fight the dog. But, you know, we just went out there and stuck with it, you know, and then sometimes in the mornings, my Aunt Betty would be out there. She would be following us in the car because we'd be out there like at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, running. That would be the first early part of the day.
Now it was time to get your shot at the heavyweight championship, the belts, if you will. The fight would have been in Canada, but take us through what was going on in Vegas and just set the table for us and how it got to Tokyo.
Well, we were originally going to fight on the undercard in Canada, but that fight pulled out, you know, and then we ended up getting another shot at, we were going to be on the undercard in Canada when Razor Ruddock was supposed to get a shot at the title, I think. And then that fight was canceled, so they moved to the next location, which was Tokyo, Japan. And that's where I got my opportunity to fight for the title again.
Now take us into leading up to the fight. Your mom passed, Miss Lula Pearl, and then you still go into Japan and you fight. But take us back into the time leading up to your fight.
Well, it was just, you know, the passing of my mom was like 2 weeks before we left to go to Tokyo. I was already in preparation of fighting the fight for the title in Columbus, and then my mom passed 2 weeks prior to our leaving to go to Tokyo to fight for the title. And then once we got through all that, you know, we took off and went to Japan.
Now, during that time, I mean, you were a tremendous fighter and you were outworking guys. During that era, Mike Tyson was just basically just rolling over people. They didn't last. They wouldn't last a round or two, or fights were over quick. But when you fought Mike Tyson, you actually took him the distance. The fight would go on and on and on into some of the later rounds. Take us into the ring and into the mentality and what was going on right there on the canvas.
Well, you know, I was determined to put up a good effort in that fight. You know, I was very focused and ready to go, and really determined, you know, and I was going to give it my best. And, you know, just, I knew the reason why we went to Tokyo because there wasn't nobody in the United States by the fight, because by then Mike had been blowing guys out, you know, the first and second round. Before the fight even started, he was, you know, the fight would be over. And they didn't think that I had enough, whatever, to put up a good effort against him. But I was focused, and I was ready to go and was willing to give it all I got.
Now, styles, the contrast. I mean, you kept a jab on him and busted his eye up pretty good. And he was shorter, and he would try to get in there, but you really wouldn't let him. Take us into your strategy in that fight at that time.
Well, it was just be first. Like my dad said, let your hands go. You know, I was striking and, you know, moving and keeping him at a distance and just working off the jab and boxing him, basically. You know, just, you know, boxing and working off the punches and moving side to side. Let him, you know, stand in front of him, you know, kept him busy. That was a strategy that my trainer, John Russell, came up with. And it worked perfectly.
Now, at
executed perfectly.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, champ. I'm sorry.
I was saying I was just working off of the jab and kept executing, and, you know, just took him deep into the fight, and drowned him, so to speak.
So there was no way he could hug you?
Yeah, just keeping him off and, you know, working inside and out, you know, staying busy, punching, you know, just fighting, just keeping him on the end of that jab, using the footwork side to side, a moving strategy that my trainer, John Russell, came up with. Worked perfect.
Take us into the round where you're basically in control of the fight, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, Mike gets a shot in, and next thing you know, you're down. You're not hurt because you got up and won the fight, but take us back to that.
Well, it was just, you know, and, you know, my father knew exactly what happened. I started watching my work, admiring my work, getting caught up in it, you know, stop fighting, you know, looking at him, wanting to look at him and, you know, like, yeah, what do you think about me now? And that's when I got caught with that shot. He was still alive, you know. But unfortunately, I was able to recover and get back up and finish out the fight strong.
Now take us into the combination, what you threw to basically dethrone Mike Tyson. The next thing we know, he's on the canvas, he's punch drunk, he's looking for his mouthpiece, and basically you're the new heavyweight champion of the world. But take us back to that moment and what that was like for you, and what you actually did to knock him down and knock him out.
Well, it was working off of the jab, like I said, and then, you know, and I noticed I stepped over to the right and caught him with a good right, caught him with the uppercut, and then came with the left hook, right hand, 1-2, 1-2, and a series of punches, and he dropped him. But I thought he was going to get up, you know, and then I noticed he was on that mouthpiece, and I knew that the time had to be running out pretty close. And I knew then that he wasn't going to be able to get up once I seen him looking for the mouthpiece. I knew he wasn't too coherent. He was hurt pretty bad, so became heavyweight champion of the world. Now, childhood dream come true.
When they say you shocked the world and you became heavyweight champion of the world and you put your fist up in victory, what was that like for you?
Childhood dream come true. I actually fulfilled a childhood dream, becoming the heavyweight champion of the world against all odds, and that was even special. My mom passing, and it just gave me that extra motivation as well. It wasn't a negative, it was a positive influence in me. Turned the negative into a positive.
Champ, how did life change for you when you got back on the flight and you went back home to Ohio, back to the USA? How was life different when you looked at your belts and when people looked at you? What was the experience like for you? How were things different?
Well, it was just an awesome experience. It was a wonderful achievement, childhood dream come true. And beating Mike Tyson was just an ultimate experience, just a big time challenge, and I was able to face it and defeat it.
Now, currently, you run a boxing program with the city. Tell us a little bit about what you do there with the young people who want to learn the boxing game.
Well, actually, it's the same program that I came up in. And now my father actually, being the head boxing coach at local rec center, Thompson Recreation Center in Columbus, Ohio. And it's really rewarding and fulfilling to work with these kids and actually young ladies too, young and older adults, and male and female, and have a good time. Look forward to going there every day, and 5 days a week, and we have a great time, and very rewarding.
Now, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and some of the gentlemen from your era say they want to get back in the ring and fight. When you hear that type of information, what goes through your mind when you think about that?
That's pretty cool, that they still got in them to compete with one another. It's pretty awesome, I look forward to seeing that if that ever come about, seeing that happen.
Now, Holyfield, take us into the fight with Holyfield and what that was like for you.
Total nightmare. A lot of stuff went up leading to that fight to where I was totally distracted, but that's just an event that happened. It didn't happen like I wanted it to, but it happened, and life moves on. We move on.
Is it true that winning a fight is like winning the lottery? Is that true?
The cash prizes it's a big time purse. Yeah, but the fight itself is what you want to win to continue on in that conquest.
So when you walk past that belt that you have in your home or you have in your possession, you have it put away, what does that do
belts,
for you?
Not belts.
Oh, the belts.
It's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, it's all three. It's an awesome feeling. It's a great event, great moment in your life, and an achievement. Great achievement.
The WCB, the WBC, and the IBF,
and the WBA. Undisputed. That's right.
That's that green belt.
It's awesome. Green, yellow, green, red, and black. WBA, black, red. The red one is the IBF, and the WBC is the green.
Champ, what would you like to tell young people out there that, they have goals, and some of them are lost for that matter, but what would you tell people about working hard and living their dreams and putting the work in?
Believe in yourself, therefore nobody will believe in you. And go for your dreams, and don't let anything hold you back. If you feel like you can do it, you can achieve it. Just go for it. Give it all you got. Because if you miss, you'll still be amongst the stars.
Champ, in closing, are there any final comments, anything else you want to tell everybody as they tune in and get an opportunity to see you? It's great to see you, but is there anything you want to tell people out there?
Well, just go for your dreams. Live your life as you childhood dream, you know, come true. It's just believe in yourself. Before anybody can believe in you, you have to believe in yourself and go for your dreams. You never know where you'll lead to, where you end up at.
In the boxing game, how do you think it's changed in the last 20 or 30 years?
Well, it's still the same. You know, it's very competitive. And, you know, it's just a great thing to go after. You know, anything in life is a challenge, and it's a big challenge. It's just as challenging then as it is now.
Awesome. There he is, folks. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He shocked the world. His name is James Buster Douglas, and we will be right back.